Hello, internet. Yeah. Um, now how much do I reveal here? Um, I suppose it might be better if if you can bring up my character art, Matt. Um, so I'm playing the elf that Matt is about to show. Um, his name is Jago Sevatar. Games Workshop copyright lawsuit pending. Apologies. Let's see now. He's been quite quiet and not very forthcoming so far in the campaign. I'm playing. He's a rogue class. Just got to level 3, so um, maybe the game will show what subclass I've picked as we progress. I won't reveal that just yet. What else can I say about Sev, as everyone's calling him? Yeah, he's a resident of the Underdark here, so he knows some places. I suppose that's it, really.
I'm playing the studious drow arsehole Drodin. I can't remember what his name was. Vorgoth. He's a Ordre of the Scribes wizard, and he's a morally ambiguous boy.
I play Tink, a fairy clockwork sorcerer. Um, she's a little 2 foot tall fairy with bits of her that look like they're made out of metal. Um, she's a precocious, angry little fucker.
Very accurate.
Lovely. Really accurate. Nick, who are you playing?
I'm playing Daphne, who is an Asima descending from Planetars, which are a race of green bold angels. She seems to be equal parts pragmatic and artistic. Seems to be focusing on getting out of there as quickly as possible. Seems to be adhering to some sort of strict code of ethics, or at least trying to. The class I'm playing is called Prism. It is by someone called Steve Fiddler and a company called Vorpal Dice Press. And it's a half-caster class that focuses on light effects and empathy.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And last but by no means least, Hazel.
So I'm playing Malice Mortium, who is a young female drow grave cleric. She was kind of marked to join the priestesshood, but she's a bit too selfish. Not great with people in the brilliant way that drows are just generally shits. And she's just trying to find her way in the world.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thanks everyone. I will summarize last session a little bit. The party have been traveling for a number of days. They exited the Silken Paths and with the help of Malice began to navigate their way towards Slublidup, which is a Kuatoa fish humanoids, effectively, settlement holding about 500 souls. Was deemed the nearest place, I believe, and the plan was to go there, get some kind of rations and supplies and whatever you may need to escape the Underdark, and then make your plan from there. Along the way, you'd managed to rather expertly craft a raft which was surprisingly good and surprisingly sturdy. But as you grew closer to Sloobly-Doop, you found the way becoming a little bit more difficult to navigate, and you decided to go inland through a number of tunnels. It was there, as you navigated through the pitch dark tunnels, that you saw two huge, strange chitinous creatures with heads like vultures and hooks for arms, which crossed your path but didn't engage you. And as you made your way further, you came across a pack of gnolls engaged. A bloody and desperate fight ensued. I think at first it seemed to be going in your favour and all was going well, but as you turned one of the final corners, you came face to face with a gnoll pack lord, a huge gnoll with a glaive and glowing red eyes. As the battle ensued, it's safe to say that more and more of you fell, and it was only thanks to Malice's, well, everyone's desperate fight, everyone using every ability they had to try and get through and survive, but Malice also using her skill as a grave cleric to spare the dying on those that would ordinarily have fallen and have died. And as we finished last week, Malice had suddenly realised that she had left Stool hidden in a cave for his safety. Stool, the little juvenile myconid mushroom. And upon coming upon the hiding place, she found him slashed and unconscious and dying on the floor, and Bupido, the Darrow, missing. So she took Bupido. She took the decision there and then to use her last spell slot to heal the little mushroom and sod everyone else that was lying unconscious in the other
Not
room.
the players, the NPC.
So that is where we pick things up. Drodin, Daphne, and I think Eldith are unconscious but protected by Malice's spell. Malice, you find yourself stood over Stool, who is warily standing up as his wounds close. And as the wounds do close up on Stool's tiny little body, which moments before was seconds from death, you feel the hairs on the back of your neck and on your arms stand up on end, and almost this sense of the blood draining from your head. A lightheadedness takes over. You feel like you're going to faint, but you don't quite. You somehow hold on. Your legs go from underneath you, but you brace yourself against the cave wall. And something shifts above you in the darkness of the ceiling. It's large and obscured, and even with your dark vision, you can't see it, which is strange in itself. You're all making ready to leave, trying to get your strength back, and it's at that moment that a beautiful drow face appears from the shadow. It's like insanely beautiful, perfectly symmetrical. The cheeks are like razor blades. And as the face appears, you see something large shift behind it in the darkness that you can't quite make out. The eyes glint red with a faint light, and this perfect smile just makes you feel incredibly uneasy, like a hungry cat looking at a mouse. And then this voice seems to just reverberate from everywhere and nowhere. You've exceeded my expectations to survive this far. Perhaps you would excel where Ilvara has failed. Your future is not a slave, Malice. It is with me. And a huge spider leg begins to slowly lower out of the shadow above you. And that's when you realise that this shape is that of a huge spider. Take my hand. I shall show you the way. And as you ponder this and look up, you see something move out of the corner of your eye, and you glance towards the cavern entrance where you previously came in, and you catch another drow shape, the sort of purple black skin and bright white hair, long flowing hair, and you realise it's a female, and she is completely naked and unnaturally beautiful. She moves around with this sort of supernatural grace and seems to be performing some sort of silent dance that you can't hear the music for. Her hair's so long it actually touches the ground, but it also seems to move of its own accord and always somehow hides her nudity. In her hands, you can see a huge silver longsword, which sort of dances again, almost weaves in and out of the hair, never seems to touch her or her hair. And it's just absolutely mesmerizing, and almost for a moment you forget about this presence above. And you hear this gentle, feminine voice, far different to the predatory one above.
There are other places, Malice, other ways of life. You've tasted freedom now. You just need to claim it for your own. My mother doesn't care for you or your interests, only her own.
And the figure drops something silver and glinting on the floor, and then disappears into the shadow and is gone. And then lastly, as you reel, trying to take this all in, something else moves in the cave wall, and you're becoming dizzy now, disorientated. You're barely conscious, and it's another drow, but this one is weirdly thin. Again, it's a female, but it's hard to make her out. She's wearing black, glowing, flowing fabric, and she moves in a way that looks painful and jerky. You see glints of silver, rings and bands all over her body, fingers, arms, around her neck. And now you realise she's covered with these huge, flowing, long black veils that just cover every part of her. And again, you hear another voice, and this one is grating and harsh, and does not sound pretty. The mic's giving out.
And I'll show you everything you want to know. Everything.
And this
Well, I can't do
slender,
that one.
thin.
Can't understand it.
Okay, I'll do it without the voice. Sorry. Thanks for
Sorry.
telling me. So you see this painfully thin figure reaches out a hand, and it's almost as thin as bone. There's barely any muscle on it. It's got long fingernails that are far too long. And she just says to you, "Sweet Malice, you know that the dead are far more reliable than the living. I can show you all the secrets of death. I know that's what you want. Take my hand, and not theirs, and I'll show you everything you want." And you find yourself stood in the cave, this huge shape above you with this weird twisted spider leg ending in a horrible hand. Something silver glints on the floor at the cave entrance, and this weirdly thin and emaciated drow figure stands with a hand covered in silver rings stretched out in front of you. What do you do?
Shit myself.
Hit yourself.
Shit myself.
Okay.
That it's a terrible, terrible situation to be in. Am I dreaming?
Yeah, you slap yourself in the face because you think you must have been struck down. You must be unconscious, but you feel the sting of your cheek. You seem to be conscious.
Is Stool still there?
You look around, try and see where Stool is. He isn't there.
So, from knowing about Lolf, I would have known about the daughter whose name I can't remember, but I did read up on, the one with the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Do I know about the deaf lady?
Roll religion for me. We can see. If you need a minute, that's fine too.
Oh, I'm gonna need a minute.
Okay. See what you get.
13.
13. You probably would know that there's a drow goddess of death called Kiran Sali. She was thought to be destroyed at some point in the past. You don't remember the detail of it, but perhaps she's not destroyed. As with all things religious, it can often be difficult to ascertain what the truth is. Do you want us to come back to you?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we move now to the cavern. Tink, as Drodin drops, the lights go out. You're in pitch black. There is nothing here. There is no light. You know that Drodin's on the floor near you. You know Eldith is on the floor near you too. Daphne's here in the dark somewhere, unconscious, and Sev, thankfully, can see in the dark. What would you like to do?
You muted, I think.
Who's
Sorry.
muted?
Me.
Oh, okay.
I will shout out for Sevatar and Derendil. Do any of you have a torch?
I'm afraid not, dear lady. I can see well enough to find you if you wish. It looks like Sev is alive. Daphne and Eldith look dead from here. I can't see you, but I can come and find you.
Yes, please.
I don't have a torch, but I have a hooded lantern, which I will light up.
Okay. I shall light that for you.
30-foot radius and dim light for an additional 30 feet.
Okay.
Would you like to give it to me so that you don't have to hold on to it?
Sure. It weighs 2 pounds. Have we got a module that there we have, haven't we?
We have. I have installed it, but I haven't
Yeah.
quite figured out how to run it yet. But...
To Tink. There we go. We have exchanged.
Thank you.
Okay, I shall light that up. So yeah, the lights that you see, a flash in the darkness, a spark, as Sev lights this torch, and you're no longer in the dark. You can see Eldith lying on the floor. Doesn't appear to be bleeding anymore. Drodin does not appear to be bleeding. And who else? You can also see Daphne, again unconscious, but seems stable, not bleeding any further. Derendil looks badly hurt and is bleeding from his head and torso. Malice is missing. Bupido is missing. Stool is missing. Topsy and Turvy are missing, as is the halfling Fargus.
You know where Malice went?
Would I have seen her moving? Was it south?
I think you would have seen her run off down the corridor. Yeah.
She left. She wasn't taken or captured that I know of. She left in a hurry. South. I have nothing
Go have a
to
look?
look after these people. We need to. Yeah,
Yes,
we need to
exactly.
go
Neither
after
do
them.
I. Malice! Malice!
She doesn't hear you.
Oh,
Narendil, stay with
yeah,
them
good
and
plan.
we'll go for a walk.
And we are paused.
Okay. You begin to walk along the corridor with the lantern towards where Malice was. And we shall stop there and go back to Malice. Apologies. Hazel. So Stool appears to be missing. You're feeling really weird. It's like being drunk and close to fainting all at once, but your mind is still your own. Your judgment is still the same. It's just like almost as if your body is struggling.
I'm gonna. So she reaches back, and the spider that's been living in the folds of her clothes and her hair.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna take him out. She's going to reach up and kind of give the spider to Olive and say, I protected him, as was your wish. But I'm my own person. And I must find my way.
You're mine, Malice. Do you hear? You are mine.
We are
Take my
all
hand.
yours.
If you
I
deny
understand.
me, you will feel my wrath for the rest of your short life.
Do I not already? And then I'm going to reach back and take the hand of the dead lady.
Okay, okay. So you reach out to this painfully thin hand, and as you go to touch it, you glance and you see that there's rings, silver rings on every finger, on the thumb, on the wrist, all the way up the arm. And as you reach out and touch her, she just turns to dust, and you find yourself stood in the corridor next to Stool. Your legs get their strength back. Your head feels fine again. Not even sure if that happened.
Is the spider still there?
It is gone.
Okay.
Okay, we are unpaused. You do hear Tinks shout down the corridor. Malice!
I'll bend down to Stool, make sure that he looks presentable.
He
I
looks
will.
full health. You kind of healed him to as well as he can be.
And then I'll hoik him up.
As
Tell
you
him
lift
that
him,
I'm
he is
sorry.
shaking. He's shaking a little bit. You can feel a sort of tremble.
Oh,
Don't worry, little one. I understand that must have been scary, and we will talk about it when you're ready. But I want you to understand that you do not need to fear death. There is a lot of pain in living. There is not that in death. Now, come on. I feel that we're needed.
Starts slowly waddling off down the corridor. You can see he's still shaking. I say he.
I'll
It's a
carry him. If
mushroom.
he's shaking, I'll full on toddler cuddle him.
Okay. And as you do that, coming the other way, you see Sev and Tink.
Oh, there you are. Everyone back there is down.
Am I aware that I've now got spell slots? Like, would I?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You have your spell slots, but you wouldn't have any new spells yet.
Yeah. So it's just whatever I can do at level 1, but I can use the level 2 slots to.
You can upcast, yeah.
Well, I'll see what I can do, but don't keep asking me for these favors.
It's no
Jeez,
favour to
hassle.
me.
Oh, then we can just leave them that way.
If that's what you want. We're very near Slipperdoop. There might be healers there.
How are we getting further? Have we got to stick to these tunnels?
Yeah. But it's not much further.
Careful in case we run into any more of these knolls.
It is a
Useful to have
possibility.
some cannon fodder. Okay. And she'll walk off. Okay, and then who is it? How many are down?
Everyone with the little
3.
cross on them, so 3. And obviously the gnolls.
Did we
7.
search the knolls?
I was just about to ask that.
I don't believe you did, no. Would you like to?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't need to search, it's not carefully hidden. On the big knoll you find 2 bloodstones, semi-precious stones, probably worth about 50 gold pieces each. There's also a brown tourmaline, which is probably worth about 100. He has a huge glaive, which is a bit crude but effective, and a long bow, and 18 arrows. Likewise, if you search the other knolls, you'll find 11 spears and 4 longbows if you want them.
Patient with longbows.
Longbow is
Thought
bigger
so
than
might be.
me.
It is.
Sorry, what else did you say though? I'll take the arrows anyway, at least.
Yeah, if you take the arrows just off the pack lord, that's 18 arrows.
Okay.
Between all the others, there's probably how many is there? There's another 56 that you can scavenge off all the others. Again, they're crude but effective.
Okay. I'll just mark up to say that I've got 100 arrows.
Yeah.
Just to make it easier.
And Zink will just sit there holding her precious gems, going, shiny.
They do catch the light, Tink, to be sure.
Do you think
Malice
that's...
will. I was just about to say, while all this is going on, Malice will cast Cure Wounds on the 3 that are down because of her Circle of Mortality. Rather than rolling,
Yeah.
they just get the full amount that they can. So I think it's 10 HP to each of them.
Oh, that's how you cleric.
Okay.
Oh, actually, 1 second. They're at different levels. Does that change the? So
Yeah.
So one person gets 10. So let's say Eldith gets 10, and then
Okay,
Cure
that's-
Wounds. So that's 2.
The
You love the
NPC again.
NPCs more than the players.
Well, that's what?
Yeah.
No, that's level 1. So the Drodin and Daphne get 2d8 plus 2. So that's what, 18.
18. Okay.
Nice.
I really like this, like grave cleric.
It's pretty awesome, actually, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
That just means I can go harder next time, right?
Especially when the rest of your party's so inept at combat.
Right. So Drodin and Daphne, you come to consciousness. Daphne, as you wake up, you feel your wounds closing and your light come back into your body. You try and focus your eyes, and as you look at everyone, you see those familiar, brightly coloured auras on all your companions. You glance at Sev and Malice and Derendil, and you see that familiar swirling pattern around each of them. Tink is hovering nearby over the body of the knoll, and you can see in her hands these gems. You can see that her aura is green, flecked with red, and it's quite small, even for how small she is. But you blink, and in that time between your eyes being open, closed, and open again, you see this second larger aura on the side of Tink. It's kind of pushing against the green aura. It's off center from her body. It's like she's got two lights instead of one, and they're pushing against each other, but they're never quite merging. They're separate. Kind of reminds you of water lapping up a beach. Never quite reaches the land. And then you glance over at Sev, and again he's searching the knoll. He's picking up the arrows and putting them in his bag. You see clearly that his aura is melancholy. He has a sadness about him and an acceptance of that sadness. And you blink hard, your head's still swimming as you come to consciousness. And in that split second, your eyes are open, you close them, then you open them again. He looks old and withered and sickly. And then you blink again, and he's just as he was.
So, to try to and keep that in mind as best as you can. Try to see what the state of her body is and where she is, whether she's been moved from where she was before. See if there's still battle happening and if everyone's all right, if everyone looks all right. So just slowly get up and just stand there. Kind of.
You hear no sounds of battle. Yeah. I thought we'd lost you there, Daphne. It's good to see you alive.
Who do I owe being alive?
Well, Malice, I think.
Thank you, Malice. Is everyone else all right?
They will be soon enough.
I think so. It's quite a mess in here.
I can bring someone back, but can't really do much to heal them. Did we get them all? All the whatever those things were?
Well, the immediate threat seems to be gone. Is everybody here? Were you counted for everyone? Head count?
The gnomes seem to be down the corridor. I can see them there.
The Pico's missing.
And so he should be.
Why?
Whilst we were fighting, it seemed that Bepido took it upon himself to attack poor Stool here, while he was defenceless and alone.
Why?
That's Stool. Why?
Why would he do that?
Well, I don't know. But I will tear the flesh from his bones for what he did. It was a cowardly act.
Well, he must have had a reason. Everyone has a reason.
And what reason do you see for attacking this poor Myconid?
Could be a number of them. Let's just not jump to conclusions. I think whatever his intentions were, if he can't be trusted, he can't be trusted. But well, neither can Stool or any of you, to be honest. So
Well, his chances of surviving out there on his own are considerably less now, so something else might get to him before you do, Malice.
Oh, well, I do hope not.
Can I just? I don't think this is the right time for any of us to be holding vendettas. I just gonna remind you all we're lost inside these caverns. There might be tons more of them should point at the knoll on the ground. And let's just focus as best we can to get out of here. And if we're all alive and safe, we can decide how we can sort out our differences.
Did anyone understand what they were chanting?
Not really know.
I only caught one word, and it was the name of their deity.
What language was it in?
I don't know. And names don't translate. Names are names.
Sure. I'll put it in chat. But yes, I believe Sev heard it. It's Yunegu. I don't know how to pronounce it. You know who.
Do I?
You
Yes,
know
I do
who?
know
Yeah, I'm
who.
sure
Voldemort.
you know who.
You know who.
Yinogu. I'm sure you rolled last time
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
and recognised it. I mean, if anyone wants to, at Sev saying that word, if anyone wants to roll religion, they can.
Always.
I've got a relevant background, so
Sure. If you know who it is, then.
I think Drayden will be slightly more concerned about pulling himself off the floor, or peeling himself off the floor.
Actually, I don't know
Yeah,
about the date. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no. You are in a pool of your own blood there. I don't know how you've done that, Nick, but I can't see what you rolled.
I rolled several. It was a 17, but I can roll it again if you like.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, you would know that Yinogu is a demon prince, specifically of gnolls. I think he's also known as the unending hunger, which is cheerful.
I will relay that information to everyone.
Could I take a look at the area and see if there are any sort of symbols or any evidence of what they were doing to see what they were doing, what spell they were trying to cast or anything like that?
Sure. Religion or Arcana?
Always Arcana.
Oh
Wasted.
no.
Thomas the Tank Engine again.
Thomas. There's Thomas with the moustache and glasses.
Terrifying.
I still don't know how you've done that. Yeah, well, you're pretty certain that they weren't casting or summoning anything, but they were on some kind of hunt in honor of their patron. So it was a ritual, but there was no magical aspect to it, if that makes sense.
It's a cultural ritual rather than a
Yeah.
religious one.
Yeah. Well, no, it probably was religious, but it wasn't.
Well,
There was
a
no
magical
magic.
one.
No.
I'll relay that to everyone. A very
see-
basic appeal to their god.
It's pretty standard fare there. They're quite primitive beings, I suppose.
You see the
Those-
two deep gnomes who, until now, have kind of kept themselves to themselves. There is a lot of blood in the tunnel, and not the blood that you all made. Drail. We didn't do it. It wasn't us.
Well, first
And
of all,
they-
insight.
Yeah, go for it.
What has the pedo killed now?
I'm going to go and check this out, I think.
They seem to be being honest, Tink.
There.
They do look very nervous, though. There is a heightened nervousness about them, as they tell you, and in fact they are already kind of backing away down the corridor and don't really want to be near you. So although they seem truthful, they do seem nervous.
I think as as Droden walks into this area, he'll just go, "Electric heaving tits, what the fuck happened here?"
Though as you walk around the corner, you don't need any rolls to see. There is blood everywhere. It's splattered on the walls. It's all over the floor, and someone has taken time, probably with a finger, to write, "I am the god of death," on the floor in the blood of whoever's blood this is.
Fantastic font to get it so neat in it. In blood
No, I
spattered.
couldn't find a better font.
I think I
What
can see our halfling friend.
What colour blood is it?
It is red.
So
It
it's
is
not
red.
from Stool, so it's going to be
It's
that
not.
murderous little bastard, isn't it?
I think I can see our halfling friend down the tunnel.
Yeah, indeed. Even though with your dark vision, everything is black and white, you can see there's blood everywhere. It's almost as if this halfling has been cut and then swung intentionally to get as blood over as much of the floor and walls as possible. And indeed, in a big pool of blood down the corridor, where you assume it's blood because it's black and white to dark vision, you just see face down the little shape of a halfling.
I have no more spells. There's nothing I can do.
We took everything that was on him, didn't we?
You did already, yeah.
And what does that say?
Send.
Send.
It's all in common, is it? Or undercommon?
Undercommon.
Yeah.
This is some serious cold shit.
Well, I think the writing can rule out that it's the hook horrors or some other native beast. There's some sentience here that's done this.
Yes,
Is any-
the fact it's pre-made. It was obviously something premeditated. I mean, the writing for it is literally on the fucking walls.
I want to be ashamed of you, but I'm kind of proud.
I'm just proud.
That's my
Thank
boy.
you.
It was the knowing nod from Steve. That's the thing.
The knowing nod and the thumbs up.
Nod of approval.
Is anyone else missing? We've got the twins.
No, everyone else is accounted for.
Let's speak to the little goblins.
It must be
They're
my pedo.
nervous.
What weapon did
Thinking-
Pedo have?
Scimitar?
Is
Think
it the
it was,
same? Were these wounds made by a scimitar?
You can roll a medicine check, but they look like they were a slashing weapon, yes. He's got lots of slashes across his throat, his arms, his torso. As I say, he looks like he's been swung to get the maximum. No, Malice, you're pretty sure it was a wild creature of some kind.
I was going to say,
I
hell.
The
can't-
wounds.
I'm just so angry I can't make sense of anything.
Yeah, it's just, you can't see. He's such a mess, you can't see the wounds, really. Yeah, Drodin, it looks like, a scimitar has been used to slash and stab to maximise blood flow.
I don't think Peter would be strong enough to swing a halfling around. He's only a little guy himself, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. He's somewhere between a halfling and a dwarf, sort of midpoint between the two.
Well, I think it's safe to say that we can learn some lessons and not. We need to keep an eye on everybody all the time. If any of us get separated, then this is our fate.
Is there any? Can I look around for, I don't know, footprints, seeing where the
Mhm.
person that did this went, what direction?
Yes. What do we roll for that? Investigation? Okay. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't take you long. You hover over so as not to disturb the ground. You can see bloody footprints from this pool of blood. They look about the size of a derro, which is what Bupedo was, or a dwarf. They walk off back towards where you came from, towards your boat, and after a time, they run out.
I guess she'll hover along for a bit, following them. So at some point down the corridor, you will hear, "My boat!"
Get your priorities right?
Where did you go? Oh, you've lost him, but the boat's gone, has it?
Well, he seems to be making his way back.
Well, it's even more important we reach Slubladub and are successful in our negotiations.
Should we focus on getting out of these caverns then?
I think so. I'm just going to ask everybody to sort of stop a minute and just do a listen, see if there's any movement in the corridors or tunnels.
Yeah, roll perception for me.
Anybody else that wants to have a little listen, in case perception's better than mine?
Okay, I don't think they need to with that.
I don't know what it was.
Oh no! Someone has to go and get a crit. Drodin and Savitar, as you're listening, you hush everyone down and you listen. You can hear a voice muttering to itself. Drodin, you recognise it as a drow, just by the accent and the tone of voice. Savitar, likewise, you recognise the language as Undercommon, so you can hear it off in the distance. Seems to be, off through the tunnels, kind of, obviously, sort of this direction, back to where you just were, round about there, maybe where that fire was that you saw.
The murderer, there's no other way to describe him. The perpetrator of this could still very well be in the area, and it might not be Bupedo, so I think we should proceed as quietly as we can.
Oh,
What do we want to do with the body?
I don't think we can do anything with the body. I don't think we have time to do anything with the body.
We've got plenty of food, Malice, it's fine.
If there's a bit just kind of laying around, can I try and, without bringing too much attention to it, pop it into the bag of mulch?
What, a bit of the halfling?
Yeah.
I mean, he's mostly whole, but you can do a sleight of hand and try and pull a bit off if you want.
Would that make it a quarterling?
It's got dark.
10.
I'm pretty sure who would notice that. Pretty much everyone passively would notice that. Unfortunately, Sev especially, you just clock her trying to pull a bit off. I think Daphne would as well. And what's Drodin? Yeah, Drodin. Basically, everyone, you sort of go to pull this piece off and everyone sort of catches your eye. It's up to you whether you carry on or not.
Yeah, I continue. I'm like, well, it's better than it going to waste. Pop it in the bag. Sorry, what was that, Nick?
Daphne just said, well, suit yourself.
And then if no one objects, I'll cast Decompose on the rest of the corpse.
Okay, you see Malice kneel down, touch the body, utter some words, and you just watch as he just rapidly decomposes until there's nothing but bones. And then even the bones start to crumble and disappear.
At least this way you can't be meddled with.
When's that shit down here?
That was fascinating. I've never seen an accelerated decomposition of a body, organic body.
So it was quite a fascinating observation.
Well, it just saves so much time and it stops such a release of gas and it's good for the environment.
Odin will look around at the cave walls and just be like, sure, yes, of course.
Well, we do have to think of these things.
Daphne's gonna walk up next to Sev, catch up with him as he's moved ahead. And sort of go as quiet as possible. Go. Don't know how many of them we can trust. Don't know if we can trust each other. But I think we both want to get out of here, and we're both focused enough to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna have to sleep with one eye open. Nobody takes a shift alone anymore. Do you have anyone in this group that you feel like you can trust 100% from your perspective?
I've kind of thinks for a little bit. No. It's kind of a life choice rather than anything anybody's done.
Do you know for a fact if there's anyone you can't trust?
No. So the default should always be don't trust, right?
I can, with their permission, I can read everyone in front of everyone else. Full transparency, have it all be out in the open. But I think we need all the help we can get getting out of here. And if there is someone among us that is dangerous, I don't know if this is the time to reveal them. To maintain the illusion that everything's fine.
We're not far from the town. I think riling people up with emotion reading and things like that is potentially only going to fracture us further. Maybe force someone's hand if there's someone else that's still untrustworthy or dangerous. it'll push him to jump one way or the other, and we're not in a place we want that to happen.
Yeah.
If we are going to do it, and I'm not sure if we should, but if we are going to do it, we should wait until we get somewhere safer.
That's what I was thinking. Well,
Yeah,
but I'd get a second opinion.
yeah.
Okay. I'll let you get further ahead, Scout. You will. No. Be the shield between you and everybody else.
Is Eldith still down?
No, she's up.
How's the chanting volume or muttering volume?
You can still hear it. It's incoherent and it's not very, yeah, it's just incoherent. It's someone whispering to themselves. You don't hear more than one voice. It is just one.
Okay. I'm going to do my best hide.
I may have already wandered off.
Where have you gone? Oh, okay,
Um,
you've gone up there. Okay. Okay.
And then I'll proceed down this tunnel where I think we saw some firelight. Peek my head round the corner.
Yeah.
Don't see anything, I guess.
You don't see anything. There is a brazier with a fire inside.
Continue quietly, trying to stick to whatever shadows there are. Listening, tippy toeing. Oh, see something around the corner.
Yeah, as you peep around the corner, the first thing you see is the blood stain on the floor and what looks like flesh. And then you can see a young male drow sat on the floor, arms around his knees, and he's just rocking backwards and forwards and just muttering to himself.
I'll wait for everyone to catch up. And everyone's there, I'll whisper to them what's around the corner. See if anyone wants to make the first move. Perhaps one of the drow.
I suppose it would be a decision between me or Malice, most reasonably.
Just from the look that Malice gives you, you probably don't want to send her around. She is not a happy camper.
Oh, I suppose it's me then. So, Droden will slowly inch forward.
Doesn't lift his head, doesn't move, doesn't change. Just you see now behind him the bodies of humanoids. They're all piled together in a pile of bones and blood, barely recognizable, but they look like they could be drow skeletons. And again, he just does not react. He's just rocking backwards and forwards.
There we go. Jordan will move up to here and kneel down and try and get a look at their face. And make a bit of eye contact and see if they respond.
Okay, as you lower yourself down and try and get into the eye line of this young man, his eyes flick up, but he stays rocking backwards and forwards and goes quiet, stops muttering to himself.
in Undercommon, because I swapped my language out from Elven to that because I think it made more sense. Droden will kind of like put his hand on his chest and go, "My name's Droden. What are you doing out here?"
They're real. They're real. It's not just superstition. I saw it.
You saw what?
Eyes go back to the floor, and he looks to the pile of bones and blood, and starts rocking faster.
What's your name?
No response.
We're heading to Sloobladoob. Daft as the place sounds. You might find a place a bit more safer from whatever's haunting you at the moment. I'd like to get out of this place.
Can I get a look at this guy? Is he covered in blood? Does he have any weapons? Does he look like he's the perpetrator or survivor?
Roll investigation for me.
Oh no.
Yeah, he does. He does have blood on him. He seems to have a short sword and a dagger, which are in the sheaths on his belt. He does have blood on him, but he doesn't appear to have any wounds. It's hard to tell whether he did it or not. There's so much blood everywhere.
Is this your work, friend?
I'm just scouting. I'm just scouting. Find the escapees. That was what we were told. Just find them, and we'd be rewarded. But then I saw it, and he just drifts off and goes quiet again and starts rocking.
Daphne will approach him with no weapons at hand, but being ready as a reaction to attack him. I can help you if you let me. She'll go near him.
He doesn't seem to react as you step near him.
Right. I'm gonna try to read his light and see if he resists or not. He doesn't need to resist.
He doesn't resist.
What's their emotional state then?
You can see I don't know if you would have seen anything like this before, but it's almost like his light is cracked and broken and damaged. He's basically so terrified that he has just retreated into himself. His light is small and dim and broken.
Well, whatever brought you here to us, we're all in this together now. Whatever you saw, as much threat to you as it is to us. Your mission was to bring us back, and you can resume that mission when we're all safe. Although, as you can see, we outnumber you by a lot. It would be for the best if you let us help you. We'll all be together and then split. So go.
I don't care about you now. I've seen it. I saw it.
Can you describe it?
Starts
So-
trying to find the words. You see his eyes tear up. Just his face just goes blank. And he just stares at the wall. And you see, you still see his light, and you see his light like retreat into himself even further.
Do you come here alone?
Oh, there's 5 of us here.
Are the other 4 of you going to attack us as soon as they see us?
Glances over at the pile of bones.
Is that the other 4?
Nods.
We can get you out of here. You just come with us. We'll get out of here. It's gonna be okay.
I'm just going to stay here. I'll just stay here. And you can go.
It isn't safe for you to remain here. There's gnolls and horrors prowling
Safer
through
here
the...
than anywhere else. It's safer here than the water. I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to the water again.
Oh, we're not going to take you near the water.
Trust me when I say this, you're not in a state to be making decisions right now. Just let go. We'll get you somewhere safe.
Daphne, that is a good sentiment, and I like where you're going, but where that's safe can we take this
Safer than
wretch?
in here.
Where?
Safer than in here,
Where is?
or wherever we're going.
I'm not too sure.
Do you think they'll attack him for being a drow?
We have Drow in our party as it is, and
Yeah, so
but they're a little bit more known than we are, not covered in blood.
we can clean him up.
I'll just kind of glance back down at the pile. I'm back at the Drow, young Drow, and take it all in. His facial expression, his teary eyes, blank stare, the gruesome scene next to him. Commit it all to memory.
Do I recognise him?
I also wondered this as well, but
He's pretty much the lowest of low, so you might, but he's not anyone of any importance.
However, I'm a strong female drow, so
are.
Alice is going to walk on up. She's going to crouch beside him. She's going to grab the hair on the back of his head and just not angrily or forcefully, but just kind of make him look at her. She's going to have her holy symbol hanging at the front of her robes and be like, "Who were you after?"
See him trying to think. Malice, Jago, the Fey one, the dwarf, the gnomes, And the Quaggoth.
I'll look back at the others and then ask him, and what would you do if you found them?
Take them back for punishment, as Mistress Ilvara commanded. She'll probably kill some to send a message. Maybe kill them, bring them back, kill them again.
And what will happen to you if you return without them? And without the rest of your party?
Same fate as them. I'll be in the cells. Hard labour for the rest of my life. If I'm lucky.
Drop his head a bit. Step away. Let the others make a decision. And is there any sign of the god of death in here? Other than the blood?
What you mean similar to the other scene?
Yeah, there's because so far there's been writing at 2 of the bloody scenes. So
Roll investigation.
Everyone's in Comic Sans.
Truly the greatest crime Pepido has ever committed.
it's a crime just that he's learnt to write. Like he's bloody annoying. 15.
15. This. Okay, that's probably enough. Yeah. There's no evidence of any writing. The other scene seemed quite deliberate and had almost been an attempt to spread the blood and write in it. There's no writing. This seems more like a natural result of some kind of violence and then feeding. They've been eaten. Their clothes have sort of been pulled off and discarded, and they've been eaten effectively. The weird thing is that as you look at him, it's almost like he just sat there while it happened. You can see from the blood spray that he's just sat there while it happened and not done anything. Ground's clean underneath him, effectively.
Tell me, Child of Lolith, what did this? Tell me what did this?
Just turns and looks at you, and his eyes just go empty.
Okay, can I insight that? Is it trauma or has something about his memory been wiped?
Sure, yeah, I can roll insight.
Dirty 20.
30-20. You think it's trauma. You don't think it's magical. It's just whenever he tries to think about whatever he's thinking about, he's just shutting down. He's pretty badly traumatized by whatever he saw.
At this point, Tink might call out, "Can any of you read this?"
Malice will wander off, annoyed that she hasn't really achieved too much. Do I recognise it in any way, shape, or form? I know Abyssal, Common, Elvish, and Undercommon.
Yeah, do I recognise it for a start as well?
It looks like Undercommon. And it effectively says Huatoa, Slubladoop, no trespassing.
So it's more of a general traveller sign than the god of death.
Yeah. In fact, with a 20. No, that's all. That's all there is. I was just checking the notes. That's all it effectively says. So you believe that's probably the way?
When it wasn't written in Comic Sans, I didn't think it was related.
It's not Comic Sans. It's called. What's it called? Can't remember. I even had green for when Stool got done. Look.
You sadistic shit.
You bad man.
It's okay. You saved him.
The thing is, on the one with Stool, it would have just said like the pedo was here.
Yeah. It's the first thing he's ever said that wasn't in the third person as well.
Yeah.
He did proclaim himself the god of death. If it's him, but I'm sure it's him, and I'm going to flay him like a fucking fish.
Didn't made a friend there. What would you like to do?
Roden's going to hold his hand out to this drow, and it's like, "Come along. I can take you somewhere safer, and I can give you directions to somewhere that should be a bit safer for you."
Where? Where's safe? Nowhere's safe.
Well, there's routes in places like Gauntle Grim and Mantled Earth, where you can get somewhere where you won't have to deal with this kind of creature before that you've had to deal with.
Gauntle Grim is 2 months away.
Oh, Mantled Earth is closer.
Mantled Earth moves. Do you know where it is?
Not at the moment.
I'll stay here. I'll wait here.
Wait for what?
Inevitability, Tink. And I'll withdraw the rapier and just slide it down. Collarbone and into all his internal organs.
Okay. Yeah, he doesn't put up a fight and just slumps to the floor.
I think Jordan still would have been trying to talk to him when that happens, and he would just kind of like sit there a bit dumbfounded that route had been utilized, and just kind of like sit there for a moment with the remains before everyone else, until everyone else starts setting off.
Malice like visibly calms down slightly.
Drodin, I'm afraid I'm finished. You may want to turn away. And I'll clean off the blade of the rapier, withdraw the scimitar, and begin to try and cleanly remove his head.
Okay. Which you do.
Where we're about to go, your folk aren't particularly welcome. There is some long-running enmity, as you probably no doubt aware. I'm hoping this may be, or may serve at least as an offering or a gift, and smooth the passage for you to enter the settlement with your heads still on your shoulders.
Daphne's face is stuck between a look of disapproval and understanding.
We appreciate the consideration.
There must have been a better way to go about it, though.
I think that was a very efficient way to deal with the problem. It makes sense to add people to the party if they have something to bring, but this person was clearly
Weak.
troubled.
He was already dead. His body just didn't know it yet. He'd given up. He would have stayed here till whatever killed his comrades returned and finished him off, or he died of starvation, or he'd given up.
And as
Put
Sevatar
him out of
has
his
very,
memory.
very smartly noted, his body is more used to us dead.
Daphne will walk up right next to Sev and go, "Do you know that for a fact? That his mind was dead?"
No. I made a decision.
Yeah, I can see.
Britain's just going to sigh and walk away towards the Slooply Doop sign.
Loot the body.
Loot the pile of bones as well, just in case.
Loot the dismembered corpse and and the clothes.
Good old Tink, little mercenary. He has a short sword, a dagger, a hand crossbow, and a Lolth idol. Which is, as the body drops, you sort of see it. It's in his hands. He's clasping it. In fact, I have a picture, I believe.
You'll get very used to this. Tink just going through pockets and
Loot.
like a dagger, scimitar going behind her. You have to. Can't use that. Don't worship that.
I thought I had a picture of it. Hang on. Here we go. Yeah, it looks like it's carved out of probably obsidian, but it has gold and silver inlay. Small
pretty.
rubies for the eyes, and a chain attached. Probably worth about 100 gold.
Oh, yes, please. Malice, Sevatar, do you worship this god? Is this of interest to you? Because it could be sold. And
It has no religious meaning for me, no.
And try no longer, it would appear. You might as well make use of it. Trade it for the money.
It's in your inventory, Tink.
Anybody else interested in any of those weapons?
A hand crossbow, and a short sword. It's a drow construction.
Mm-hmm.
Daphne does not use any of those weapons, so she'll say no.
I would be happy to swap out my light crossbow for a hand crossbow. Just because. I don't know. I prefer the idea of it. And that means she can have Stool on one hip and hand crossbow in the other.
Okay, I should give you the hand crossbow.
I'll take the dagger then, if and the short sword if nobody else wants.
Okay. Should be in your inventory any second.
I feel a
Okay.
bit like, should we discuss party treasurer? Because I also found the bloodstones and the tourmalines.
I know I'm going to offend you with this, but are you going to be able to carry it?
Probably not.
So we
I
would
think we
need
should all put it towards something
so
that
we
can help
would
us
need a financial manager and then someone to actually hold the amount.
Why don't we just give heavy things to Derendil?
Do you trust him to keep hold of all of the money?
I don't
What if
think
he
any
falls
of
for a web
us.
again?
Well, then we take it off him if we're going to go anywhere dangerous. But in terms of survival, he is one of the more likely to survive.
If you trust him, that is your decision. You seem to know more about these things than I.
I don't know who I can trust. But I think we all need these gems right now.
I think the choices of trust is superseded by practicality and who can actually physically carry them at the moment. If you can carry them, Malice, I'm happy for you to take them. If it makes you feel better.
I was not expressing an interest in carrying them. I was just more concerned with the safety of entrusting Darendil to do so. I was actually thinking that you, Sevatar, would be a good option.
I can take them for now, and if things get too heavy or it's not feasible anymore, then I'll speak up.
Well, by the sounds of it, not one of us trusts one another, so she will throw a bloodstone at Sevatar, a bloodstone at Malice, and the tourmaline at Derendil. We may as well split it up in case one of us falls
And what did you say the
or
value
runs
was on each of
away.
those?
The bloodstones are worth 50 each. The tourmaline is worth 100. What else was there that you threw?
No, that was it. There were 2 bloodstones and a tourmaline.
I can put those on the party fund page if you like. There is a party fund journal, but
I've just done it. I've added them.
oh, there you go.
I've just
There
put
you
them
go.
in.
I've never got why a brown stone is worth more than a red one. He wants brown stones.
I'm sorry, how much
Yeah.
were the bloodstones? Were they 100?
50,
50 each.
50 each.
50 each.
By the way, there was all of those gnolls had spears. If anyone wants a spear,
Can Derendil carry spears and a gnoll corpse? Because all of this is tradable.
Or we could just take their ears.
Do they not make pelts out of gnolls down here?
I wouldn't know.
They tend not to wear any clothing at all, really, enough for modesty. They don't like the feel of it on there.
Oh. Very well then, let's just take all the ears.
okay, so you have 12 pairs of ears.
And I'm going to make Derendil carry 11 spears, because why not?
11 spears, okay.
And a longbow if no one wants it.
I mean, I could probably fire a longbow. I've never tried. By the way, I did hear all of that. If you don't trust me, then I don't really know what I can do to make you trust me. It seems that when we need to be pulling together, you're all pulling apart. That may be normal here in the Underdark, but it is not normal on the surface, I assure you. So perhaps you should all pull yourselves together and start cooperating.
Being able to cooperate is important as a group, but I think the issue is that, as of yet, we know very little about one another except that we are all running from the drow.
But
The
already
enemy
one
of
of
my
us is
enemy
turned.
is my friend, I believe is the saying.
I know. I know enough about some of you. I don't know if I want to know more. At least not right now, when my life is dependent and intertwined with your lives. Maybe we should just get out of here as quickly as possible. Decide who we trust on for in a safer place. Not stuck inside cabins with a murderer.
So onwards to the town, but please bear in mind what I said about their relationship with Drow. And
Sorry, dear boy, I missed that part. What's the problem
the
with Drow?
Kuratoa, historically, it goes back a long, long way. They've never had a great relationship with the Drow. And typically one another kill each other on sight, so
Oh,
yeah.
what about whatever I am?
That's a good question. I think hopefully this offering will allow collectively us to pass unmolested, or at least I hope so. Short of that, we're quite an eclectic group.
That's one word for it. Okay. Eldith will sort of step forward and look for Malice. Malice, lass, thank you for saving my life again. I owe you a debt. I think it's becoming pretty clear that some of us aren't going to get out of here.
Some of us are already not getting out of here. It's more than
Aye.
clear.
Aye. And I just, I'm not sure. It's a lot to ask, but if anyone has plans to go to Gauntle Grim and I am dead, I mean, I've already lost my sword, so I can't give my sword to my daughter, but I have my shield. If anyone goes and I have fallen, I just ask that you take my shield to my daughter. I know it's a lot to ask, but I'm the feeling that I am not going to leave the dark is hard to escape.
A token of death is understandable and even quite honourable. If it is a possibility, I'm sure that it will be seen to.
You have a message or something more practical. Just some of us can't carry shields, and you may lose that.
Aye, well, I may. Perhaps I should write some words, but at the very least get word of what happened here to Gauntle Grim and to my family.
What's your last name?
Feldrun. I mean, I hope it might not happen, and together we're strong. But it feels like the group's tensions are rising. We're not gaining trust. Whatever happened to that poor halfling? And well, was he definitely murderer, or is it one of you lot? It all got
Well-
a bit fraught in there, and I lost sight of some of you. It could have been anyone. Could have been them deep gnomes. They're unscathed.
Once
They
we
stayed
have
away.
settled, once we're settled, we will talk with Stool. He was attacked. We'll find out what he last remembered. What actually happened. That will hopefully answer some of the questions that some of us have.
I really feel like we need to come together. Not if we don't trust each other, we're all dead. There is no nice way of saying it. We're all dead.
We're all dead if we trust each other. Obviously, people that died trusted whoever was with them and killed them. So there's one or the other. We can't trust each other, but we can trust each other enough to work together to get out of here. But I'm not going to trust any of you. Especially when I've seen some of you pull out a rapier and just murder someone in cold blood.
I
It
did
was the
not
nicest
see
way for
that.
him to go. You could almost say it was kindness.
You could say that, but I didn't, and I won't.
Once I'm on Daphne's side in this discussion.
It's the principle of the matter, not the act itself. What gives him the right to decide which one of us is not of sound mind anymore? But if you wake up tomorrow and you're not of sound mind, do we just dump you here? Do we murder you? Maybe we will, which is why we can't trust each other. And
Daphne, the guy had given up. But more than that, you must remember,
you'd be surprised what
He-
people can rise up for.
he openly said that if he'd found us and identified us, he would have taken us back and told any pursuers where we are. Killing him is keeping us alive.
Have you never worked for the wrong person?
No.
That's all I've ever done.
There you go. I understand what you did, even though I don't agree with it. I'm just saying, anyone that calls for trust within this group is either a mad person or they're trying to get us to trust them so they can go along with their plans, whatever they are. We don't need to trust you. We don't need
We
to
need
trust
to
each other.
cooperate.
We need to cooperate. That's right.
Well, what's been done makes little difference now, and we need to keep moving. If they were scouts looking for us, then they're catching up quite quickly.
Precisely.
Arguably, cooperation requires trust. And I don't know if I should do this. Think is going to be flying around Sterindil and then just suddenly stop flying and hope he catches it.
Okay. He will try.
The guy that couldn't remember to hold onto a rope. It'd be ability check, wouldn't it?
I'm doing a D&D trustful.
Yes.
I think he catches you. I don't think it would be particularly difficult. Yeah, he drops all the spears that you've made him carry all over the floor. And slight giant pickup sticks now, and he catches you. Having trouble with your wings, Dink?
Just making a point. And she looks really smug.
Okay. Okay, I'm not going to pretend I understand what the point was, but are we leaving the spears then? Is that the
No,
point?
you can pick them up now. And she'll climb up to his shoulder.
No, Derendil, those are the points. 12 of them
Yes,
there. You pick those up,
yes.
please.
Where's the badum-tish? I need to get that sound on here, don't I? For
Didn't you
Steve.
have it because we're on the same...
Oh yeah, maybe I did. No, I can't find it.
It was under Curse of Strahd and then in a folder called Foley.
Called Steve. Steve Dad Jokes.
Wow, wow.
I know it's. Thank you for lifting the mood there, Sevatar. Would you prefer Jago? I've not quite worked out which one's your first name so far, if I'm honest.
Jago
I
is
don't know
my
how.
first name, but most people refer to me by my second and shorten it to Sev.
Very well. Well, I prefer Derendil, first of his name, of Nelrind and Vane. But you can call me Prince Derendil.
Understood, Prince Derendil.
It's cheeky, but I'm quite wounded. Would it be okay just to have a little rest? Perhaps not next to the huge pile of dead drow. That's quite off-putting. Or are we just moving?
Was that of Nell Rindenvane?
Yes. Oh, do you know it?
No, just committing to memory.
Oh.
Actually, do I know it?
Roll a history for me.
Come on, Thomas, no.
No, you've not heard of it. Doesn't sound like a real place, actually. But no, you
I've read
haven't
a
heard
lot
of
of books and I've never heard of this place. Where is it?
It's actually in the middle of a lake in the high forest. Quite closed off from the world. We're an old kingdom and we prefer to keep ourselves to ourselves.
On the surface?
Yes, on the surface. The high forest, trees grow under the sun on the surface.
Yes, I know it from the surface.
You know the high forest.
Do I?
You would have heard of the high forest, yeah.
Eldith might know, might have heard of it. At least from the surface.
Sneaky. Nope, she'd not heard of it either. No, sorry. Never heard of it. I don't trouble myself with elven places.
Yes, to be fair, I have had no interest or interaction with elves on the surface very much.
No, well, I think relations are not what they were, are they? And she sort of looks across at Derendil knowingly. Goes, nothing to do with me, I assure you. So can we have a sit down and just bind my wounds? And it seems that we're out of everything. Or have I misread the situation? I'm sure I heard Malice say she has no more spells left for healing. Or do we just go?
We can take a rest if people need to clean their wounds, bind their wounds. It was quite a scuffle.
It's up to you.
How far is Slibledup?
Well, these tunnels are unfamiliar to me, but based on the way we saw it before when we were on the shore, I would say it's about DM.
It's probably a couple of miles away now. 2 or 3 miles.
It's not too far, but these tunnels are quite circuitous and filled with, well, you've seen what they're filled with.
We exit the tunnels at the very least.
If we can find an exit. Like I say, I've never been in these before.
I will point at the sign.
Or anyone that sees Undercommon will basically see a strangers keep out type sign. It's particularly fishy font.
Sign that Dredden has been stood next to while most of this conversation's been ongoing. Being like, we've got dry on our ass, we need to go.
How hurt is Derendil?
He is hurt enough to be.
If we get into a scuffle, is he going down?
Yeah, probably.
He's our tanky boy.
I
He
mean,
needs to be at the front, doesn't he?
he is the tanky boy. He's probably still got more hit points than Drodin. No, he doesn't anymore because you've leveled up. But yeah, he's bleeding. He's got blood matting his fur and on his head.
But
I mean, he's not.
NPCs don't have hit dice, so what are we going to do there?
They don't know, but I've got a.
You got a system.
I've
Can
got
we-
a system for him.
We take a short rest to give him some hit points, if nobody else objects. Maybe.
What's these hit points that you talk of?
Let's enjoy a meta joke.
You take a drink of water and
Yeah, Eldritch
Catch your
does the
breath.
same. She binds her wounds. Blimey. Order 12. Derendil does the same. With some help, he sort of wraps some bits of cloth around the wounds. I mean, he's still hurt. He's still blooded, in fact, but he does look better. Eldritch looks pretty good. Topsy and Turvy don't have a scratch on them. In fact, they haven't had a scratch on them since you met. And Stool, wherever he's gone. They're still gone. Oh, there he is. With an hour's rest, he is pretty much up to full. So,
cool.
marching order, please. If you just want to lay yourself out in marching order on here, assuming that you're going off the bottom.
Definitely to be second to Purvis scouting.
In fact, you can do marching order on here.
Can I? Is it worth giving me access to Stool's little token just so I can move him with me?
Sure.
Would it
Yeah.
also make your life easier, Matt?
A little bit, yeah.
Do you want to give me Derendil and I'll say I ride about on him most of the time?
Sure. Sure. There you go. You've got Stool now.
We have our NPCs, now we must keep them alive.
It's a lot easier to balance encounters when they're dead, though, to be fair. Did I say that out loud? Right, so let's put them on. It's a big boy. All this.
The big boy and the little boy.
Stool can only move 20, by the way. Just to make you
I'll
aware.
carry him.
Yeah. Who else is
He's
there?
getting quite heavy though, isn't he?
He's a chunky
Toddler.
boy.
Okay. I'll walk with him until something bad happens, which it's going to because we're in a fucking swamp and there's already a pile of bones. And then I'll pick him up.
Oh no.
Who's that?
Who's what?
Oh
I
no.
don't think we should
think
see
you
them.
may have put the wrong tokens on.
There's a
It looks
thing.
like a rat-faced monk.
Faced monk.
Yeah,
That's a were-rat, isn't it?
it's here. It's either a were-rat or an arcana loth.
Oh, how weird. Okay. I don't know what's
It's an
going on
arcana
with
loth. We're all dead. It's a were-rat.
that.
as
No,
well.
it's not. I think it's just corrupted. No, that's not good. I think I've
Derendil has
closed
so
that.
many hit points.
He does. He does. It's quite handy. I don't know what's going on with that. It's the avatar's broken, so I'll figure that. I'll find the original avatar and put it back in. So you after a short rest, you exit the tunnel, and you find yourselves. The tunnel opens up, but there's still basically top and bottom of this map. There is cavern walls and a small river which seems to flow away from you, off into just in the distance. You can see the lake again and the city.
Is this natural light, am I blind? Unless I have.
If you can see, you can see. The water is glowing with this green iridescence. Even though it's flowing, you can see this sort of green substance flickering and dancing in the water, which gives off this green light. And indeed, as you assess the area, you can see along the banks creatures, humanoids, Kuatoa, the bodies of countless creatures strewn about. They're not fresh, they're quite old, and you can even see some bones in the water.
Well, this does not look good.
That drow said something about going near the water, not wanting to.
Does anyone want to lead with me? That's what we're saying. Move forward.
I'll go with you, dear boy. Dear girl.
We'll go
Dear-
behind you.
I-
As I am on your head.
Oh, okay, very well. Aye, Daphne, I'll go with you.
So that's a match.
Topsy-turvy at the back, just go, nope. Seem to have two turvies now. It's not going very well with that.
Gone all turvy and turvy.
I think I've corrupted them. I've broke them.
I will try and stay away from the water as much as we could. Those bones don't make for a positive sign.
I will lead ahead carefully, sort of moving at a slow pace for a bit, see how dangerous this area is, if at all.
Hey. As you cautiously edge forward, it's eerily quiet in here. There's just the gentle trickling of water. You can hear the sound of waves lapping off a short distance away along this cavern, which you can only assume is the dark lake and this small stream pouring into that.
Yeah.
You move forward. They're quite old. They're not fresh. There's no blood. Most of them, any flesh that's left on the bone is desiccated and dry, and even with the proximity of the water, it's clear they've been there a long time.
Or maybe whatever fed on these is no longer here.
Are we in an open area? Like if I look up, I'm still in a cave.
Yeah, if you look up, the cavern ceiling is quite high above you. It's within the range of your dark vision, but it is quite high. To the top and the bottom of the map, there is cliff walls. This river was probably much deeper at some point and has gradually diminished. So the wear looks like it was done by water over thousands of years.
Yeah, just moving ahead carefully. Do you want me to actually
Okay.
move on the map? Or...
Yeah, move where you want to go to. Eldith will go with you. She's quite nervous. Okay, as you get there, what's your passive perception, Daphne?
Quite sure.
Just looking. Okay. It's your wisdom 10, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not proficient.
No. As the others are holding back, and as you cautiously move forward, Eldith has got a scimitar out and a shield out, and she's looking quite nervous. You suddenly see these little shapes pop up from the water.
Yeah.
They are these odd humanoid shapes with large, bulbous, lidless eyes, yellow, mouth full of teeth, almost look like a piranha. And in their hands, they're holding a variety of spears and nets. In fact, I can show you a picture. They are strange-looking creatures. One of them looks like this as well. He has a piece of rope with a hook on and a large sort of pole with a grasping jaw at the end, which Sev know that they call a man catcher.
Okay.
And they hop out of the water as you get close. Everyone roll initiative, please. So we'll just add the combat.
I'm gonna roll my projection barrier as a reaction.
Okay. Okay. Is anyone not in the...
I'm not.
Yeah, just adding you now.
Thank you. That's unfortunate.
Oh,
Did you get pretty terrible?
Oh, I got...
you got really good, which you didn't want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fortunately, Daphne's beat me.
Oh, so many monsters.
Do we recognize this is the same species as the guy in the prison cell?
Shushar, you're well
That's him.
remembered. Yeah, they do look like the same species, yeah. I never know whether to just do all the monsters at once, or it can be a bit overpowering if I do it that way, but it's definitely easier on the initiative. Okay, is that everyone rolled? I think it is. Okay, Daphne,
Okay.
you are first, but yeah, you cast projection barrier. Is that right?
Yes, I got 4 temporary hit points.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna move. Well, I think against... Yeah.
Right, there you go.
Can I? No, can't really move that, can I? Because I have to go. Was I up? So it would be that. Would I be able to get next to the creature?
Yeah, it's not massively high.
Okay. Yeah, if that's the case, then I'll get as close as I can. But I'll get on this side, and then make a massive greatsword out of light, and going to attack. Yeah. Spend 1 influence because now I have 2, so I need to tell you how much I'm spending. So spending 1 point of influence on this attack. Trying to
Okay,
hit.
that's a hit.
If I don't mention how much I'm spending before I make the attack roll, then I'm just spending the minimum amount.
Okay, no
Just so
problem.
I don't take advantage of a good roll. Okay. That's 9 points of radiant damage.
Hey, yeah, you see this thing flinch back as the light engulfs it. It looks blooded.
Okay, and then another thing. And I'm gonna spend another point to apply empathy on it, so it's an ability I just got. So I'm choosing the calm effect. So as they're hit by this light, they feel a sense of calm in the entire body. So whenever they deal damage, they will only deal half of it. But anyone damaging them, they will only do half damage. And it lasts until the start of my next turn.
Okay, good stuff. Anything else?
And then I have a bonus action which you can use to make another attack. This one's a bit weaker.
That's a hit. Roll damage.
I'll apply the effect after this, but yeah, half of that.
Okay. Yeah, you hit it again with this blade of light, and it seems quite chilled out about it. It doesn't seem as bothered as as you cut it. Okay, excellent. Drodin with lots of NPCs up next.
Jordan's just going to use his action to dash forward.
Yeah.
All the way, and then seeing all of the fish people there, does he recognize their Kuatera or anything?
I think you would. Yeah, I think you would recognise them as Kuatoa. I think everyone would. That's from the Underdark.
He's just going to kind of like wave his arms in his reaction and shout in Undercommon, they don't want to, like, we don't want to fight, we're just trying to get to Sloobladoob to rest, recuperate.
Okay, roll persuasion for me.
I'm gonna get a natural 1. Oh no, I got 19.
Okay, 19. Okay, we shall see. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. The 2 little gnomes will sort of scamper off this way. Seem to be clinging to the rock face. They don't seem to want to get too involved. All right, where's this one? There's so many I can't see where it is. Ah, there it is. Little Kuato will pop out of the water here. And dash forward. You can hear it sort of like making these weird, like strange burbling noises. And as it gets close to you, it just flings this net at you, Malice. It just picks this net up and just throws it straight at you. What's your armor class? I'm guessing it's higher than 12. So it flings this net, and you just step aside, and it doesn't seem to make contact. It's Stool's go. So if you want to do anything with Stool, now's your time.
There's not much he can do, so I'll Malice will just be kind of trying to keep him back, so he'll just kind of waddle off, following the direction she's been pushing him in. So
He could poof some spores into the air to help you communicate.
Yeah. What's the radius in that though?
I think it's 30 feet or 20 feet.
Yeah, I think it's probably best if he tries to get more of the fish folk in there.
It's 10-foot radius.
Okay, so yeah, we need to get him closer. But he'll mosey on over there for now. Hopefully out of harm's reach. I swear to God, if Pedo pops up from behind one of those rocks, we're gonna have some problems.
Created a monster with Pedo. You hate him so much now. It's
He's
Derendil.
the boogeyman of this campaign now.
He is the first of many. Derendil is looking a little bit confused. Is like, are we negotiating or are we killing them? What's going on? What would you like him to do, Veronica?
I would tell him to hold an action. If one attacks him, then he will. Well, no. If one attacks. If one attacks him, she'd be about self-preservation, and she is on him. So if one attacks him, he'll attack back. But until then, hold.
Okay, fair enough. This little fellow will sort of pop out of the water onto the side, and move to here, and you will just hear it shout. Anyone that speaks Undercommon will kind of understand it. It has a weird accent, but it will just shout, "Lay down your arms. Surrender. You are prisoners." They basically say, "Lay down your arms. Surrender now. You are our prisoners." I won't use the voice changer. It clearly makes it just impossible to understand. I think that's all he's gonna do. Oh, hang on, no, it is not. So with this weird pincer staff stood up on the shore, it will it will push it towards you, and you see it spring loaded, and it's designed to wrap around your shoulders and then just close, and it will do an attack on Daphne, and miss completely. Fails to grasp you. Sev.
Okay, I'm gonna do a move 30 feet, a bonus action dash 30 feet, and I'll just make a show of dropping the scimitar on the floor. But I'll hold up the drow head and say, in Undercommon, we're not here to fight, we're here to trade, but not as prisoners. This can benefit you, and we bring a gift of respect.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay. You can roll persuasion, by the way.
Okay.
It's good. You see a lot of them with Drodin's persuasion and then yours. They do seem to hesitate for a second and look at this larger one with this weird jawed spear. But as if in response, one of the fish people will run forward and try to throw a net on Daphne. No, and that's a 12, which will miss. What else? Where's that one? And another still will come up here and try and throw a net at Daphne. It's a 20. I assume that's better.
That does actually hit, yes.
So you take no damage.
Yeah.
But you are effectively restrained. On your turn, you can make a strength check to try and free yourself, or someone can do damage to the net to free you.
Okay, sounds good.
So you are restrained, but you are unhurt. More importantly, which just put on you, Tink.
I will, seeing that they have these nets, move off of Darendil's head. And sort of look around and see what Sevatar was doing, and I assume Darendil, as our pack horse, has all the ears, so I'll sort of wave the knoll ears at them and
Okay.
look to Sevatar. What are they listening? It doesn't look like they're listening.
Roll insight, actually.
Can't see it.
Don't know. Are they listening? Maybe they don't understand. Maybe they don't care. No. Sorry, what would you like to do?
Do I fire a warning shot?
You do you.
No one is answering. And this doesn't look like it's going very well. Firebolt. This one.
Which one?
Oh,
This one.
it's
In the
ping
middle.
turned off. Yeah, the one to the
It
south
might
of
be.
Daphne.
I need to figure that out yet.
Stupid.
The hit, roll damage. Okay. Yeah, it's a good solid straight in the chest. It did not enjoy that. It's safe to say. It's wounded, but not badly. Anything else?
I'm gonna stay there. Done.
Okay. So you see this large Kuatoa, big and muscular, and it's not carrying a net or a spear or a man catcher. It's got two huge fists, and it moves forward, and you can see it's sort of gauging. It's looking at Sev and Drodin and trying to gauge the threat. And it is going to dash up to Drodin. But that's all it can do. Malice. Muted, I think.
Yeah, so I am just going to move up to cover Stool and just kind of try and stay out of it.
Okay.
I'm just there to protect the tiny mushroom.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Holding any actions, or is that your lot?
I'll hold a sacred flame for if that fish guy near me comes at us.
Okay. Fair play. So the chilled out one, that is quite kind of mellow, and it's hard to tell because their facial expressions are the same. They don't blink. They don't have any kind of mouth expressions, facial expressions. They all just look the same. But it's just a very relaxed sort of body language about this one. Grabs hold of the net with Daphne in and just starts slowly, very like relaxed, just like chilled out, just dragging Daphne. Only drag you half, and doesn't do anything else. And you see another one, Malice, water here. Oops. And it gets within about 10-15 feet and hurls a net at you. I mean, the one thing that's clear is they don't seem to be trying to hurt you, but they're definitely trying to capture you. It's a 21. So you find yourself wrapped up in this net. You are restrained. You can try and break out of it on your turn, or someone else can try and damage it on theirs. But otherwise, you are restrained. Yeah.
Is Stool in the same net or a different net, or like well not netted?
Stool's not netted, no, just you.
Okay.
So this one will drop down in the water, and then it will fling a net at Eldith. Non-lethal combat. That's an 18, which hit. So Eldith is now restrained as well as this net wraps up. You know, a sword goes through. It's wrapped around her legs. She is restrained. So just to be clear, restrained is the next step up from grapple. So it basically means you can't take actions other than to try and break out of it. And then we're top of the round.
I don't think that's correct.
I'm pretty sure it is.
So the restrained creature's speed becomes 0, can benefit from any bonus to its speed. Attack rolls against it have advantage, and its attack rolls have disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage.
Yeah, so you should be able to do
So you can still do everything, but you have disadvantage. Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Yes. No.
Fair point. No, don't be sorry. It's I remembered it wrong.
It's no. What you're thinking of is incapacitated or paralyzed. One of those.
Yeah, I think you're right. So Daphne, it's your go. You are in a net. This Kuatori is dragging you through this stream. Slowly, half speed. What would you like to do?
If I was to suddenly sprout extra appendages, would that help me escape, possibly?
Unless it, to be honest, unless it gives you a strength bonus, probably not.
No. She will just. Whether there's any point in trying to escape, considering all of them are just going to keep attacking with nets. She'll still try to escape. So it is a strength check or saving throw.
Yes, strength. Strength. Hang on, let me just check. I think it's an ability check, isn't it? Strength check. Yeah, so it's not a saving throw; it's just a check.
So I'm good.
That's good. Yeah, you manage to just break a part of it and just fling it off. You are no longer restrained.
Okay. Do I have any bonus action I can use? No. I guess we'll just run. She'll run 30 feet that way.
Okay. Roll. What's your roll perception for me, please, Daphne? Okay. No, you don't. You don't see anything, unfortunately.
That didn't happen. Okay.
No, the dice were not your friends. Okay, Drodin.
Realizing that this one is directly in front of me, Drodin's probably going to kind of like, I don't know, lean down, kneel down, and just in undercommon, just say like, we're here to talk, rest, and trade. We're not here to actually fight. And he'll hold his hand out to gesture for like a handshake or something. He's trying to be as non-violent as possible, in spite of everyone being netted up and
Okay.
catched.
Okay. As you say that, you hear this other voice from the sort of south at the bottom of the map. You just hear a voice shout, "Do not surrender. They wish to sacrifice you. Join us and we'll help you destroy them." And at that you see, you suddenly see more Kuatoa appearing from the mushrooms here. They sort of seem to have been hidden away, and in the midst of them, you can see, everyone can see this physically larger, probably by about a foot, and actually has some clothing, albeit very rudimentary, a belt around his waist, carrying a staff with weird sort of crab crayfish hybrid on a stick. They all sort of reveal themselves from their hiding place, and they just point at the Kuatoa that are trying to net you and kill them.
Well, in that case, who was in who was still in nets?
No.
Eldith is in a net.
Oh.
Malice is in a net. I think that's it.
Then I will fire a magic missile at Eldith and Malice's net, and then a fourth one at the one directly in front of me.
Okay, roll damage.
I only okay. Well, yeah.
Does it need to be slashing damage?
It does.
Oh. Well, it's 5 damage to everything.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, your magic missiles. Magic missile can target a non-creature, right?
Each dart hit. Oh, it hits a creature. So if they have to hit a creature, they'll all hit the one in front of me, I guess.
Okay.
I can't
So
target
what's
the
that?
nets. 15 damage because I rolled all 4s.
That's pretty good. Yeah, this you see it sort of open a hole up in its chest and its side. You can see its ribs. It is badly hurt and still standing somehow. If it's if it's okay, we can probably narrate this bit of combat. I know that's a little bit of a break from the norm. I don't know how people feel about it. Do you want to play it out, or do you want to story tell it? No wrong answer, by the way. So whatever you prefer.
I think. Well, I'll describe what Sev's intention is and thinking is, and if it ties up with what everybody else is thinking, then there's going to be no conflict, and we can play it out, I guess, to narrate it. So Sev's thinking, after hearing the other group and seeing the attire and the staff symbols he would recognise, his tack will change, and he will just attempt to kill everybody that's trying to capture them.
Okay, sure. How's everyone else feel about that?
Yeah. Jordan's plan now was pretty much to try and help free everyone who's netted and then start firebolting the ones that were trying to capture us.
I got that, Droden. I'm going to send the big guy with his claws.
Oh, okay. Well, firebolting everybody then.
Okay.
Yeah, Daphne is going to agree. And just try to kill everybody. We're probably all going to die.
We're never getting into trouble, dude.
Yeah, so as the fight progresses, it becomes clear that these Kuatoa who attacked you, they're trying to take you alive. They're not trying to hurt you, they're trying to net you. They're trying to use these man catchers to try and take you alive. But with the appearance of this second group, they split in two and cut off the exits to the cavern to prevent these other Kuatoa from escaping. And although you're uneasy at first and you worry that they may well attack you, it becomes evident that they don't. Those of you in nets are break free, and systematically with you in the center and these Kuatoa pushing from either end of this cavern, you just give them nowhere to go. Fire bolts and weapons of light, sneaky arrow from Sev, Derendil ripping them apart one by one. You destroy them, and they are dead. And I'm sorry to do that. I just thought it would have gone on painfully long otherwise.
It's a lot of NPCs on the map.
There would have been 8 rounds of me just going, and I tried to escape. And I tried to escape.
Exactly. But you all fight through. You as you kill the last of them. This large Kuatoa who has moved to the back of the cavern sort of steps forward, looks at you all, and tries to ascertain who the leader of the group is. He sees Derendil, who is huge. You are the leader. Oh, well, not here. On the surface, yes. Not here, though. Would that be you, Tink?
What language is he speaking?
Undercommon.
Would what be me?
The leader.
Jordan will also help him translate, seeing as he's right next to them both.
Okay. Tell me, who is the leader? Who can negotiate?
Guido in a fish costume.
Yeah. No, but Pido is like this.
I thought you were going to do an Aussie accent.
I was tempted. I was really tempted, but because they're from down under. But we've already we've offended so many nations.
Well,
and Australia as well.
To be fair, at this point, most of us come from a land down under.
That's true. All right, let's do this, mate. Who is the leader?
I am. Definitely will step forward.
Okay.
So
you're not the leader.
Well, I don't know about that one.
Look, we've got a
Who
little
can
bit of a
understand
problem.
this guy? Is it
If you
everyone
speak-
able to?
Everyone who speaks Undercommon can understand it. Eldeth is looking a little bit confused, but
They also
everyone
look
else
confused.
seems fine.
And I don't understand him, so I'm gonna take that back.
Oh,
I
it's,
am Spartan. No.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah, to Daphne, he sounds like this. Sid. Yeah, basically. So you probably have no idea.
Backwards record. In which case, if Mouse notices that there seem to be people who aren't understanding this and like clocks that it would be a translation issue, that's when she'd probably bring Stool forward and ask Stool to
Oof.
do his
Okay.
little thing.
Yeah,
It's
Stoof.
all
Is,
flat.
Stoof. Stoof. That's probably what the power's called. Stool is a little poof of black spores that
Queefs
sort
everywhere.
of deviate 10 feet around him. You feel the little connections in your mind.
Steve, no.
It's not me, it's Stool. Just a little.
Is it
Little
just
Oh,
lip
me,
off
or
in the
does
air.
That's clever, mate. Look, would you like to come back to my town? I'm not very good at Australian.
I'm still getting over
We,
what Steve just said.
I'm just trying to move on.
Yeah, yes, we would. That's what we're here for. We're looking
Look,
to
we
trade.
we have a
Invest.
bit of a problem, and your arrival may be advantageous. We have a ship nearby. We can take you back if you're willing to help us.
Are you going to try and kill us again?
We didn't try and kill you. That was the followers of the Deep Father.
That wouldn't be your problem, would it?
We have always followed the Deep Mother, the Sea Mother, but a bit of a cult has sprang up, if you know what I mean. There's a bit of a power struggle going on.
So,
Why did I do Australian? I can't do
It's
Australian.
making me so happy.
it's better than my
I love
fucking-
this.
It's better than
It's not
New
good.
Zealand.
Listen, mate. Listen. Go on. Sorry.
I want you to add a slight lisp to it so it goes Ben Mendelsohn, and that would just be my heart would be content.
Yeah. My name is Pluplepleen, and I am the archpriest of the Sea Mother. And as you hear Sea Mother in your head, out loud, you hear him go, "Blibdle poop." Yes, the writers of this were just evil to GMs. All the fish people have stupid names.
So is your kind of issue at the moment almost kind of like a weird marital divorce where these two deities are fighting to see who gets the kids?
Oh no, it's worse than that, mate. It's my own daughter. She's following Lee Magoogoon, and what's so funny about that? Lee Magoogoon is a big threat to our settlement.
Please, Archpriest, continue.
If you're willing, I would offer you passage on my ship. We can talk more on there. It's not safe here.
Yes, let's what we need to continue this conversation. Lead
If you
on.
could help us dump these bodies in the river, that'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that won't be a problem.
Okay. So you basically just push them into the water, and the current catches them, and off they go. The Kuatoa lead you for
Oh, Matt,
short
just check
time.
the ambient volume on that scene, mate.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Ooh. What a
Hopefully
lovely
that's
map.
working for you. If not, I apologise.
It's so pretty.
It's a very fancy animated longship.
Hopefully. So as they lead you through the tunnel, you eventually come to the shore, and you can see now the city off in the distance. Again, it is almost in pitch black. You can see the odd fire and the odd patch of phosphorescent fungus glowing, but overall it is just a shadow in the darkness. It's very hard to see. There's the odd little pinpoint of light. Near the shore of the lake, you can see quite a large ship. The sail is down. There's gangplanks there. This high priest, Plupluplin, walks up the gangplank and gets on board, as do his Kuatoa, and they stand and wait to see if you're bored.
Yeah, I'll go up.
As you walk up, he's like, "Ripper, mate. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, fair dinkum, cobber.
You speak our language."
I've spent some time with your peoples.
Such a bad idea. Is everyone getting on?
Yeah.
Take it, yes. Yeah. So as you're stood with the high priest and some of his followers, the rest of the Kuatoa go about sort of pulling the sails and getting the ship ready, and they start to pull away. At first, you kind of think there's not any real breezes here, but somehow they manage, with a combination of rowing, they pull out from the shore and they seem to find this breeze. The sails fill, and the boat starts moving towards Slubladoop. So, what is it you're after? What brings you here? I see you've got drow amongst you.
Yeah, we are no friends of the drow. We were imprisoned and we escaped. And you're the closest settlement to that place. We fear we're being hunted. We've lost our ship, though, if you could even call it that. And we need to make good pace around the lake. We need some provisions. We need some supplies. And we're willing to trade.
I'm not sure you've got anything we want to trade, if I'm honest, mate. But this brain mushroom's proper handy, I have to say. You could leave him.
No.
Worth a go. Look, we've got this issue that Lee McGugoon is driving a wedge. Every time he says Lee McGugoon, you actually hear Deep Father in your head. So I will refer to it as Deep Father from now on, but you know that it is Lee McGugoon. Look, I'm going to be frank.
Yeah, go
on. I was the ruler, and I'm the archpriest of the Sea Mother. But I was displaced by my daughter. She follows the Deep Father. It's split the whole settlement. We're at odds with each other. It's they're sacrificing. That's what they wanted you for. The Sea Mother has always provided, but I fear we're fighting each other My own daughter.
How would you like to see it resolved?
Yeah, it's gone too
Rather than me
far.
playing
I've
that
got no
ghost.
choice. She needs to be removed. And it pains me to say that. She's my own blood, but she's lost her mind.
Could you be more explicit about the definition of removed?
Dead.
And you say she lost her mind?
She's not seeing reason. We've followed the Sea Mother for generations, and now she wants to start capturing other sentient beings and sacrificing them to the Deep Father. It's not our way.
What of a following does she have?
The town is split down the middle.
So half a town we're up against.
Well, yeah, that's the issue I have. I mean, I have an idea if
We're all ears.
you're open to it.
Sorry, no offence. I mean, you haven't. Never mind.
So as you're stood on the deck, the other Kuratara, for those who haven't seen them before, they're acting a bit weird. They're kind of walking around, but they don't seem to walk in direct lines to stuff. They'll do like little loops and circles, and they'll walk around. They always seem to walk in like twos or threes. They just suddenly change direction and go somewhere else and do something else. It is really off-putting and
I
really
know people
odd.
in real life that do that.
Well, what is it you want, mate? What is it we can do for you? I know I'm asking a lot, but I have an idea. It's dangerous, but who are you? What do you want? Why are you here?
We just want safety from the drow, which I'm sure you can understand. And we want the resources to help us achieve that. So, food, weapons, armor, water, and means of travel. A ship like this is fantastic, but we wouldn't need anything quite so large. There's only a small group of us.
Can you navigate?
No.
So
We
you
can
need a
follow the
navigator.
right? Don't check the gifts. Don't check the gifts.
Okay. I can't believe I let you persuade me to do an accent, Veronica.
It doesn't take much persuading, to be fair, Matt.
No,
If you clearly
it's
wanted
not what-
to.
No, I don't. I clearly should have done one that I've actually practiced. But
I'm quite impressed with this. Like, it's staying somewhat consistent. You just don't want to overdo it.
no.
I'm very impressed. Like, round of applause.
Okay. I'd be quite willing to give you a navigator and a boat if you help me with my problem. You know, we've always lived in harmony with the lake. We had a couple of, weirdo visionaries that, saw a new way, but we generally got rid of them. They're
Yeah,
weird.
we may have crossed paths.
But it's just causing fighting. It's family against family, and it all, as much as it pains me, it's my daughter.
Look at the
She
others.
needs to go, and I think if she goes, then maybe we can get rid of this deep father nonsense. You know.
Would you?
So we can give you food, water, a boat. I'll give you a navigator.
You give us some moments to think about it and discuss.
Yeah, I'll give you some privacy.
Thank you.
And he kind of waddles off like a much taller Stool.
Now that I hear their voices in common, that really is the sexiest accent I've ever heard.
Oh dear.
Daphne's just staring out into the moving waters all excitedly as they're sailing. I'm not really paying attention to what I was saying before.
He wants his daughter killed, Daphne. How do you feel about that?
What did she do?
Opposed him?
So, you see with the cult.
Yes. Those people that wanted to capture us and sacrifice us.
Okay, she likes to sacrifice people.
She's all for it.
Yeah, I reckon that'll be all right.
Okay, that was easier than I thought. Anyone
Well,
else?
human sacrifice, you'd be surprised. Might ask you questions first. That's all right with everyone. See if there's any sense left in her. And if not, by all means, let's further.
Anyone else have a problem with us taking this on?
Not particularly.
Okay. I'll go and tell the Archpriest. And I do.
Okay. Is the brain mushroom still going?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mate, so what'd they say?
We're in.
Hey. I'll be honest, the question is, how do we get this done? And I'm not sure. You're not going to like this. I have an idea. Have you
Well,
ever
it's
played
an idea
Knifey
more than we have.
Spoony?
I haven't, but I've heard of it.
Look, if I just take you in there, they're just going to grab you and sacrifice you, and you know it's all going to be over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading the gifts, and well, I was thinking if we take you in restrained, tied up, like we'll take you into my hut, and we'll say that we've bought you for sacrifice. Bear with me. Obviously, you won't be properly restrained. It'll just be for show. And then when my daughter comes to do the sacrifice, you spring out, we hold everyone off, and you do her in.
You know Yarbnock.
Get right out of my mouth, Steve.
No,
Never mind.
How certain are you that if we kill your daughter, everyone else will fall into line?
well, she's the only priest, or claims to be a priest of the Deep Father, which is pronounced Lee Magugoon, by the way, in my language.
Yeah, sure.
Look, they'll buy it because you've got 2 drow and a kind of drow-looking guy. They'll be well up for sacrificing a couple of drow.
And at what point do we use the knives and spoons?
Well, that's when, like, she'll be like, deep father prayers and all that, and that's when you strike. Before she, I'm no expert, but I would say kill her before she kills you.
The typical combat rules. It's the first one to die loses.
Yes, they taught me that at combat school.
So it makes sense that you'd want to have the knife rather than the spoon?
Malice, forget the spoon.
Well, why? I'm very lost in this whole conversation. What is your daughter even getting out of this? Is it just the power, or do you think that she believes it?
Look, I mean, she believes it. And I'm not saying that there's not something in it, but all I know is since she's been... I can't watch the cameras because I can see you laughing at the terrible accent and then it's making me...
I got exactly the same thing when I first did Cham's voice.
yeah.
I was just about holding it together, and then I can't remember exactly what it was you said, but it was a stronger accent, and V's just there crying, and I just couldn't. I'm sorry.
Hope you
So
don't spend
you'd
too
want
much
the
time
knife,
here.
not the spoon.
It makes sense.
Look, I all I know is ever since she's brought this up, it's been family versus family. I'll offer you as a peace offering, and then you know, I mean, please make it quick. She's family.
Have you considered that there's this thing, I don't know it in any great detail, but I've heard other prisoners talk of it. Family therapy?
What's that, mate?
You just kind of sit around and talk about stuff, and I wonder if that might help your daughter. I think Stool would be quite useful in that. He's very good at making connections.
Talking with your family doesn't work.
Well, that's good to know.
They have to be willing to make that compromise.
Well, if she's willing to sacrifice people, I'm sure she's willing to make many a compromise.
I don't think sacrifice would constitute a compromise.
Well, we had to compromise all the time when we were sacrificing people. A commoner and so on and so forth, and it's about making the best of what you've got.
Well, I think your offer of help to us is very generous and probably suitable for what you're asking of us. I think it's a fair trade. And like I say, I'm in. And I thought everybody else was, but I'm not sure if they're having second thoughts now.
I've also got a closet full of offerings, mate.
Oh, right.
You can have all of that.
Okay, so we go ahead with your plan. You fake bind us and take us to this place.
Okay.
Is that what
I'll
we're
take you
doing?
to my place,
Right.
and then we'll set it up for a ceremony when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work?
At your place.
Well, you know, I'll show you the closet with all the offerings.
Inside check.
Okay, roll inside. He's a fish-headed bloke. He's very hard to read. Combined with using this mental connection via Stool, it's very hard to work out what he actually means by that.
Well, it's not just the best plan, it's the only plan we have. It's the only option we have of making any speed and progress out of this place. So, yeah, I'm in.
I mean, there's like little gold discs, there's little silver discs, there's, bottles and all that
Oh, I know what they are. They're
stuff
bird
that
destroyed,
washes
but
up.
we'll get rid of them for you if you want.
Okay.
Do you
Well,
really
we'll be.
hope for your daughter?
I've been
Easily
trying,
not
but
on fire.
she's just been driving a wedge. The longer this has gone on, the worse it's got. It's like just a handful. Now it's everyone's fighting, it's disagreeing. We've had deaths.
She does sound like a flaming galah, in all honesty.
I guess my point to that would be, I'm being asked to trust someone that commissions a random group of people to murder their own daughter. You can see why I might be a bit hesitant to trust you, though I don't disagree with what you're asking us to do. It's our only option. Under the circumstances, I think it's the most reasonable course of action. But what kind of reassurance do we have that it's not a trap?
I mean, look at my face, mate. And he sort of glares at you with this just weird bulging eyes, no facial expression whatsoever. It's a mouth that is either open or closed. There's very little to read.
Come on, Daphne.
Is this a face of?
How can you not trust a face like that?
Can I read his emotional state, please?
Yeah, sure.
I'll just ask him if I'm allowed to, so if he can choose to resist or not.
You want to what?
Can I have a bit of a read on your inner light?
Knock yourself out, mate. Sounded a bit cockney then.
What am I getting?
You hone in on him and you get a lot of fear, and you get a lot of sadness. You don't get a sense that he's trying to lead you on or set you up. He does seem genuinely sad about what he's asking you to do. You can't read it on his face, but
Yeah.
it's in there.
Daphne will walk up to him and put a hand on his chest and say, I think you're a good leader. What is being asked of you is more than should be asked of anyone.
Thanks. I mean, if you think there's another way, please tell me.
I promise you that if I can figure out a way to do it without killing her, I will. That's as best as I can do.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you're ready, I'll get this boat landed. If you need a bit longer, we'll sail around the harbour.
To do with a night of sleep, I think. Does anyone else agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So we'll end it there. If you want, he will actually sail the boat round the lake for 8 hours and let you have a long rest. If you'd rather go inshore and have that, that's fine too. I would assume you probably want a long rest on here, do you?
Either fine for me.
Yeah. Okay, so benefit of a long rest, and we'll pick it up next time. I better practice my accent for next time. It's a whole blooming town of them.
If you've
Nice.
been offended by any of the content in this episode, Matt's Twitter handle is.
I would also like to say that it obviously is a fantasy world, so any similarity between Kuatoa accents and real world accents is entirely coincidental. And I don't think anyone could argue that it was even vaguely Australian.
But we should run away from it like it is.
Oh, well done, all.
Good game, Matt. Good game.
That was a good session, Matt. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
lots to think about. Hopefully.
Delightful time.
What's up with my aura?
But yeah, what is up with your aura?
What's up with mine?
What's up with yours? What's up with Malice?
An
I was
aura.
gonna-
Drodin's just being quiet.
Well, no one's really asked him anything or opened a conversation with him today. So he's just been like, oh, we'll try and help this traumatized drow, and people will murder him, and then he'll be kind of like, thought, well, could have got him
I'll
therapy.
try and counsel
That
this
probably
drow,
would've-
and I slid cold steel between his ribs.
Yeah. Well, great, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah.
In fact, I think Drodin continued talking to him for another 30 seconds until he noticed the tip of my rapier poking through the front.
That was about right.
I don't think he's that unobservant, but it certainly would have been like, it would have been talking up to the point where it was like, oh, his eyes have rolled into the back of his head. That's probably not a good sign.
Oh, I love how much you don't trust each other. The whole Papido thing's really made it worse, not better, as well.
Yeah.
I will
Think you'll
find
ever
it.
trust each other? I know you
I will.
will.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll get the opportunity. I
Or
didn't.
he'll
I was.
find
I
you.
actually didn't know if you would follow him. I was like, what? What if Malice is so mad that she follows him? But thankfully, you were.
And until you gave me the three options, that'd be my plan. I was just going to screw everyone else. I'm after him. The only reason I was going to go back and save them was because I was hoping that I could get them to help me hunt him down. But now she's got bigger plans of vengeance, and she wants to know about this death god.
Mm.
Yeah, you got a variety of choice there between 3 major drow deities, and you picked the one everyone that was such a huge dick they thought they'd killed it.
She well, this was the thing. I was like, I knew about the main two, and then I'm like, Malice, she's gonna go with death. She's gonna go with death every single time.
Great cleric.
She
Got
is-
it.
She's that emo kid, and she's just, when it's all about vengeance and revenge and like necromancy, it's the one that makes sense.
Mm.
And she knows it's not going to work out, because she knows that, obviously Lolith's the real god. Any kind of drow god below that is more of like a lesser deity and is never going to be as powerful, but she just is. She is all about that death.
Mm. And
It's like
mushrooms.
the person I'd be dating in high school. Well, I did date.
And you have a
Sounds like
quarterling in your backpack.
Yeah. It just makes sense for her. I didn't know until like Matt said, "Oh, I'll give you there'll be a thing." I'm like, "Oh, it's going to be between these two." And I was like, "Oh shit, there's a third option I wasn't prepared for."
Oh, did you think it was just going to be the two?
Yeah.
Oh no, I nearly did
Well,
4, but I thought it would just be too much.
I'm not that clued up on drow deities. I know Lolth, of course, but
I don't know the one that Malice has thrown in with, but I know about Lolth and Alestre. And the others I've pretty much forgotten about entirely.
Yeah, it's Kiaransali is the god of
Yeah.
revenge and undeath. It fits pretty well, to be fair.
Yeah. I think when we were first talking about like who should follow, and I stumbled upon Kurosali, but it kind of didn't make sense for her being in Mensa Baranza and being a cleric, and like it's
Mhm.
got to be Lola. But
Oh yeah, it'd be very hard for you to practice that in the city. You wouldn't last very long. But it felt to me like you were kind of at a bit of a crossroads with Malice about whether she was going to stick with the old ways or pick a new one.
I don't think she's ever won for the old ways. But I think that's the
No.
thing with Spider Queen, isn't it? It's forced. It's not a religion of belief. It's a religion of you need to survive.
It does basically say here that she's also known as the vengeful banshee,
Yeah.
and she's got such a strong sense of vengeance that she's repeatedly died and come back, just
So I knew she was like all about death and stuff, and then like when you mentioned, I'm like, we've said that I would know who she is because of just being who
Mhm.
Malice is. Quick Google, I literally saw it was Lady of the Dead, and then like the whatever it is, Banshee. I'm like, yes,
I'm here.
that is what we're going for.
Yep. This group is so different to the other group. It's insane.
Why do we have to make beef with all of the gods in all of our campaigns?
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
No one's
No.
fucked off the Orminator yet in Curse of Strahd. Yet.
Strahd is
Oh.
near enough for Demi.
Yeah, he's kind of It's his room, isn't it? Really.
His room, yes.
Demi plane, whatever you want to call it.
He's the one with the knife. We've only got spoons.
Yeah. So you've
Knifey
played Knifey
Spoony.
Spoony before.
See, you've played Knifey Spoony before. I saw the GIF in the chat.
Good gift game tonight, folks.
I probably should put a GIF window up, shouldn't I?
Remember, the stream is still going as well. Sometimes I don't know if people forget when it's turned off or not.
Well, no. Does anyone want to? What, you worried we might have offended someone by saying Strahd's Demi plane is a room?
No, I just get paranoid. People forget to turn it off, and we sit here for 2 hours having a conversation.
Bitching about all our followers.
Yeah, do you know the people that watch it are us, right? So
we occasionally get, a few little outliers come in and say hi.
If
We
there
do,
is
we do.
anyone watching this who isn't one of us, join
One
us.
of us. One of us.
Come play with us forever and ever.
We all float down here.
We'll float in the dark lake.
And we're sorry.
I am really sorry for my accent. It wasn't planned. It was a flippant joke that I would do the Kuato as Australian, and it didn't work out. I'm not sure what that accent was, but
It was great.
We
Australian,
loved
yeah.
it.
He's Australian, huh?
Australian enough. Yeah, I suppose that's it. That's all it needs to be.
Now we've got to do this
Yep.
mission because we get a navigator, which means that there'll always be someone that Matt has to do an Australian accent with for as long as we keep him alive.
Think of that.
It's
Damn
funny,
you.
and it's less annoying than Pedo.
We haven't met him yet.
Oh, you love Papido? Really?
I
You love
like
to hate
Pepido.
him now.
No, I liked him for the first one. By like the end of the second one, I'm like, I don't want to hear this voice ever.
I'm so over Pupido.
Well, it's all right. He's gone. I read the room, and he's gone. Took a few with him, but he's gone.
I'm going to bring him back into play. I'm going to kill him, and then I'm going to bring him back and kill him again.
Brutal.
I wasn't joking when I said that I was going to strip the flesh from his bones. I need it to keep my mushroom boy alive.
Got an unhealthy attachment to that mushroom is something I never thought I would say.
She's
there you
offered in
have
the
it.
Kuato as suggesting family therapy, and there she is talking about revenge plots and feeding dead people to a mushroom boy.
Stool is my family therapy.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's like
It's
when you
more-
give advice to someone, but you'd never take it yourself.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, but also it's like when you're on your last legs, and then there's like a stray dog that you take in, and the stray dog ends up saving you.
And the stray dog is a mushroom. Yeah.
Yeah,
You've picked up a stray mushroom. You can get
yeah.
creams for that, you know.
But it
I think that's
it
LSD if it gets like that.
it listens to her. She's got a connection to it.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
going to murder her in. Well, so far it's not going to murder her.
Challenge
So anyway,
accepted.
if Malice dies by being killed by a mushroom, like particularly
See you, Nick.
Stool, she's okay with
Oh, he's
that.
gone.
Oh, he's gone. Like she's at peace if that happens.
Why?
They will just be like do like a child's play thing and just be running around with a kitchen knife, slashing everyone in their sleep. Because everybody trusts him.
Because he's a good boy.
You've muted yourself, Matt.
All I said was he's basically mushroom Chucky, but
Hmm.
yeah, no. I think you're all right. Oh, I'm glad that had the desired effect. As soon as you
My
left
cheeks
them on
hurt,
their
thank
own, I
you.
was like, yeah.
Yeah, how
I
did
Yeah, so
had
what
a
were you doing the other
what's
lovely
time?
with
time.
your auras? Did you? Oh, good. I was quite excited for tonight with all
So-
those little reveals.
Yeah, it was
So
good.
what were people's auras again? Can you
So-
do a quick recap?
So Daphne is a prism who can kind of see people's auras.
Yeah.
So, what did she see? Yeah, she looked at Tink, and Tink had. I'm gonna have to remind myself. You might want to make some notes. So Tink had a green aura flecked with red, and it was quite small. Even though she's small, it was very small and reduced. And then there was another separate light which was slightly offset from her body that was red, and it was kind of pushing in. Just kind of, if you imagine like I don't know, like a lava lamp, they just kind of like pushing against each other. And then I think he also looked at Sev, who just looked like very thin and emaciated for a second. I think that was it. That was all the auras he saw.
Okay.
There you go. But obviously, you don't know that in character. I liked Steve in Icewind Dale when you did that whole thing with Neven, where you sort of did the reveal to us, but obviously our characters don't know. I actually really like that because it's like reading a book where the main character doesn't know what's going on. It's like, you know. So I thought that was a good call. So I thought it was better to do it in front of everybody. Same with your religion thing. They don't know that you've changed allegiance to the god of undeath, but you do, and they know out of character. So they can have that growing sense of dread as you gain in power without reacting to
joy.
it in character.
We are the king of unmeta.
But no, I've had good fun. I had good fun this weekend because you've all given me backgrounds of sorts, and weirdly they kind of interact in some interesting ways that I didn't foresee.
I
Especially
don't understand how.
Daphne's. No, nor me, but it does. Yeah, and Jim, your background's great as well. It's probably just a bit early for it to come out, but
Yep.
Slow burn.
I can imagine tonight was quite interesting for you
Yeah.
with certain decisions. I bet you were like, go on, no.
Yeah, a little bit.
Did I pick the wrong day? Anthony?
I'm sure everyone was like that, though.
There was like a subtle hint as well to a bit of his backstory that I think I noticed a few people going, "Oh," but like no one really like questioned him about some of the shit he was saying. So remains under the radar for now.
You're very nice for a drow.
You are.
Yeah, it's morally ambiguous because you don't know if if it's just like a pro drow attitude. Like if Eldith was in the same situation as that traumatized drow, he probably might not care quite as much. He'd probably be like, "Oh well, suck for them."
Really?
Well, you don't know. Maybe.
I'll see. You only like the drow then.
Oh well, maybe he puts a bit more effort in to help drow.
Okay, interesting. I shall put your little vision, whatever you want to call it, your spiritual moment as a bit of info. I've put it in a thing so you can read it again if you want to. If there's anything you missed or.
Okie dokie.
And I will put Daphne's in a. Yeah, well done all.
I knew Lolth wasn't right. When I read that Elistari or whatever her name is like goddess of beauty, song, dance, freedom, moonlight, sword work, and hunting. I'm like, Malice is not up for any of those.
Lol, do mainstream.
Yeah.
You need like an indie god, don't you?
All about that hipster shit.
You need to be an
Hipster.
alt drow hipster, yeah.
You hipster drow, you.
Leave my little goth girl alone.
We're not still streaming, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah, shall I stop
are
it?
we?
Right.
Icewind Dale tomorrow, correct?
Icewind Dale tomorrow, yeah.
Sweet. 7 o'clock.
Enjoy.
BST, GMT.
GMT.
GMT. Yeah.
UK o'clock.
UK o'clocks.